morning, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay today. So, due to the nature of everything going on right now, I actually don't want to talk about anything political in this one. I want to tell you about something entertaining that happened a few weeks ago. Had a buddy of mine over. We don't get to hang out very often. Both of us have families. Both of us used to work together. And he's got wife and kids, same as I do. And he's just a decent guy to hang out with. Well, he and his family came over to the house a few weeks ago. And he brought something, and I got to have a first experience with what he brought. He brought over, it's the Gen 2 Nissan Leaf. Now, it looks just like the first generation Nissan Leaf, but has a little bit better range and a little bit better performance than the first generation Nissan Leaf that came out around 2011 or 12. Well, he came to my house. He charged it up fresh when he left his house, had about half the battery left, and then we decided, I'm like, man, if you bring that over, I do want to go for a ride. And he's like, here's keys, go, let's go. So there's a little 5-10 mile loop that you can take on a handful of roads around my place, and we went out for a little drive. Range aside, I was impressed because the car from peak state of charge gets 80 miles maybe. So it's not something that I could safely drive to and from work. The chargers at my job are at a premium. There's only a handful of chargers per lot, per parking lot, and there's not enough where I would feel comfortable driving something like that to work, because if there weren't a charger available when I got there, I'd be kind of stuck. So anyway, we took it for a ride. I really liked it. It was so trippy to feel brisk economy car acceleration and hear zero noise aside from wind and road. It was really an odd sensation. I just don't, like, I've been in hybrids before, and your conventional hybrids, you can charge with regenerative braking and running the engine in certain circumstances and configuration, all that's, electronically controlled. And so you can take off and pick up some speed on battery before the engine has to kick in, or sometimes the engine will just randomly shut off while you're cruising to maximize fuel efficiency, and it'll restart in a mile or two. So it was a really weird sensation to be at maximum throttle and have zero noise. But it was kind of wild. I didn't mind it. When we got back to my house to finish visiting, he did bring his charger cable with him, and so we plugged him into the house and let it sit there for a few hours till he had to leave. He got more than enough range by his trip computer to make it safely home, and according to him, he was driving like an idiot the whole way to his house. Wide open throttle, hard on the brakes and everything, and he made it back to his house with mileage to spare, and the range computer was accurate even though he was driving like a fool, according to him. I think he had 45 or 50 miles of battery range, and he lives about 30 miles away, so the computer was accurate even though it was driving silly. But I can understand how they might be the way of the future in some circumstances, but I don't think that they are for everybody. As far as their commute goes, there's a lot of people that could use them. I probably couldn't right now, especially with the price. But something else I wanted to mention. There have been EV tax credits of various sizes depending on what kind of car you get for a number of years, and they're talking about adding up to an $11,000 incentive for an EV through the federal government if I forget the dollar breakdown, but basically it's an EV that's American made in the union shop, and an EV whose battery is made in America. I'm all about those things, but I don't think that the government, if something sells for too much, the government shouldn't have to step in and foot a percentage of the bill. Pardon me. As an example, right now the best EV that Ford currently has on the market is the Mustang Mach-E. It's comparable in size to small to mid-size SUV or crossover. It's got 300 and some odd miles of range depending on configuration. It's decently quick all the way around. But it costs to get a high range model. You're spending $10,000 to $15,000 more than you would a comparably equipped Ford Edge. That's not a dig at EVs, that's just the amount of money that they sell for. And I don't particularly understand why, if something's ridiculously expensive, the government is subsidizing the purchase of it to that degree to make it successful. I know a few years ago, Tesla didn't make any money on the sale of its cars. It was all on other things that Tesla sells. They made it back in their solar roof. They made it back, a lot of it back, in government subsidies and tax breaks. So, I'm not anti-EV at all, but I think that if they're going to be a successful thing, they need to be a successful thing on their own. The government doesn't need to rig that race, whether it's, through emissions taxes, gas guzzler taxes, or by effectively reducing the price per vehicle through subsidies to the end user, or by giving tax credits, tax breaks to companies that manufacture them to make them more profitable on that end of the deal. So that's what I got to say on that. Y'all, stay safe. Thanks for tuning